spin on cue, where it's like, boom, boom.
Marty, stop.
Ripperoo! Ah!
Super Media Runners!
Welcome to Super Media Runners. We run the media to you. You fucking coughed. We're not going to use that one. Welcome to Super Media Runners. We run the media to you. I'm Jarek.
I coughed. I'm John.
And today we're going to be talking about our Crash Bandicoot movie.
Crash Bandicoot is the best video game mascot of all time. Fuck Mario and Sonic.
I know. I'm surprised out of all video game mascot movies, we haven't gotten one of Crash. Because he could easily be a CGI movie.
Wasn't there like a TV show? No. I'm
You're thinking of the canceled Sly Cooper movie.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking of.
Which also would have been a good movie. I love heist movies.
Never again. Everybody forgot about Sly Cooper.
Ratchet and Clank did one, and that it was terrible.
They were trying to coincide it with the PS5 release title.
Jack and Daxter would have been a good one. I mean, come on, Naughty Dog has some good characters. I mean, come on, they got the Last of Us.
An Uncharted movie would be. No,
okay,
wait.
Tom Holland is Crash.
Live action.
So let's get started on our Crash Bandicoot movie. Obviously, we're gonna do CGI. This is gonna be a
it's not live action. The fuck? Are you stupid? What are we
Well, doing? they got the guy with the Crash costume back. I mean, it would be great as a meta humor. Oh, can you see any like hack writer being like, oh, let's do a Deadpool but Crash Bandicoot
Crash
movie.
Bandicoot.
Like in these silly costumes, it would be kind of
the TMNT animatronics and shit from the 90s.
Or it's you notice how they're doing these post-apocalyptic shows? Twisted Metal's one, now Last of Us. Like Sony's just like, let's do all the post-apocalyptic games that we have and just make them into TV shows. So they could easily do this with Crash. It's like Wumpa Islands is the last remnants of the humankind, mutated animals. So, but we're gonna go CGI kids movie basically. So the Crash Bandicoot movie is going to be about Crash, the birth of Crash,
Crash the Bandicoot.
The birth of Crash Bandicoot, obviously.
It's like an origin story.
Essentially. So,
dude,
and this was based off the first game.
Okay.
That's exactly what it's going to be like.
In Pitch Runners, we will go over cast, plot summary, and our whole movie pitch using Dan Harmon's story circle through the main character's journey. But before we take that journey, we must consult the studio deck. We pick one card and must do what the card says during the presentation of our idea.
See, let's go through the cast first, the voice cast. Crash is going to be silent. No voice actor is going to be credited to him, except it's going to be archived voice clips from all of the Crash.
Or you can have someone to imitate him.
Okay, but we're not going to pay like a freaking AAA actor.
No, just pay someone that does a decent interpretation.
Or we could just pay the guy that runs the computer,
or
that does the soundboard for all the Crash voices. It's like, oh man.
It's just a soundboard.
And then the spin. Like it's always okay, sorry. But yeah, that's what we're doing with Crash. I never thought he could ever have a voice either.
No.
What? Hugh Jackman is Crash Bandicoot because he's fucking Australian.
Who did they just give it? Oh, they gave Mario a voice. I mean, that turned out fine, but
I guess it would have been annoying if Mario was just voiced by Charles Martinet and was silent.
I would love that.
Like, ha ha, hoo, hee, ha, and everybody else
I would like it.
Had a voice. But this is what we're doing for Crash. So Crash is not going to have a voice. He's going to have like the Coco is going to be played by Debbie Derryberry, because I feel like after Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie, I think more voice actors being put in, like they got one of the voice actors for Tails to be in the movie. So it's like, all right, cool. Hollywood, let's start doing this more. Getting actual voice actors to be in movies, like big movies.
Please.
So Debbie Derryberry actually voices Jimmy Neutron, but also voiced Coco for some of the games, including Crash Nitro Kart, Crash Twinsanity. That's one of my favorite voices for Coco. I don't think she's in the latest games.
Yeah, she sounds like a...
She's got more smart. Of like more smart. That's what I like. Like you can hear the Jimmy Neutron.
Not a silly voice. It's just like a regular, smart. I mean, she's the smart one of the bunch. So
yeah. Cortex going to be voiced by Lex Lang, who I think is the current voice actor for Neo Cortex.
Yeah, he does a really good job.
He does a good voice. So I think that's going to be the best we can get for that.
My other suggestion was the guy that does the voice of Plankton from SpongeBob.
That would be a good one too.
Pretty good.
It's always that booming voice. Like it all sounds like Calypso, Cortex. That voice. Where
Whoa. It's like-
welcome
it's
to
like-
Twisted Metal. Welcome to
yeah,
Crash Bandicoot.
It's like theatrical kind of.
very
That's what I like about
gravitas.
Cortex, though. Yeah.
So Aku is going to be voiced by Greg Eagles, who also voices Grim from Billy and Mandy,
And
and
Samurai Jack.
current voice actor for Aku.
And a bunch of other characters.
So that is our cast. So very simple. Again, this is a direct adaptation of the first video game. So basically, it's Crash and his sister Coco and oh shit, John. I didn't do a voice actor for Tana. It's his girlfriend.
Brie Larson.
Sure, why not?
Jesus.
Tana is Brie Larson.
Because they changed Tana. She used to be like a scantily clad woman.
Big tits.
In the most recent game, Crash Team Rumble, they made her into they have made her, but
Yeah,
in the
from
most
Crash
current
4.
game, she's like a tomboy. She's like an adventurer.
Well, she's from another universe too, so technically that's a different Tana. So
Yeah.
let's just make this kind of like a mix of the both.
Okay.
She's still got big boobs, but
But
she's
she's
also she can punch.
She's like Tomb Raider.
she can punch somebody.
She's like Lara Croft.
Yes, she's the Lara Croft
She's
of
the Lara
the
Croft of
Bandicoot
Crash.
universe, of the Bandiverse.
Bandiverse. There you go.
So
Spyro crossover.
do you remember Guardians of the Galaxy 3,
No.
Volume 3?
Yes.
So what's interesting about that is that it's so similar to how Crash, the origin of Crash. Think about it. Neocortex is the high evolutionary. He is literally getting these animals from the Wampa Islands and turning them into these mutant anthropomorphic creatures to create his Cortex army to rule the world. So Crash and Coco and Tano used to be bandicoots, living in the Wampa Island, regular bandicoots, and he turned them into these
Mutants.
anthropomorphic mutants. And so that's what he did. He used his what do you call it? His
Cortex ray.
evolution ray, or whatever the fuck they call this. So he turns them all into these mutants, Dingodile, and that's how we got all these henchmen, and then it becomes them. So what happens to Crash though? He wanted to make Crash into the general of his army of mutants. So when he was about to use the Vortex, I think it was called the Vortex Cortex, to basically brainwash him to becoming so they can all become part of his team of this army and rule the world, through the Wampa Islands. But Crash, what happens to Crash? It fails. The Vortex Cortex doesn't work on him, so he escapes, and he'll escape with Coco, and this is where he decides, oh shoot, we have to save Tana, and then they save Tana, and then at the end, they defeat Cortex. I don't want to get more into the nitty gritty after the plot summary, but let's first do Studio Deck card draw. Whew. Plot armor. Elaborate 5 scenes in your idea where your main character has plot armor in situations where they probably would have died. Very convenient because Crash dies a lot when you play the games, especially if you suck ass like me.
Yes, I do.
So that's really good. I mean, he's a cartoon too, so there's a lot of ways we can have him
TNT
survive.
crates. Just getting hit.
So we'll think of 5. So yeah, familiar situation. Crash lives in a prison with Tana and Coco. This is where I'm starting to get the Rocket vibes. So they're basically living in this prison laboratory with all these scientists and Cortex just,
Embryo?
experimenting
Cameo?
them. Embryo.
And
Jin, yes, because they're both lackeys of Neocortex. So they're all like, so Cortex is like, with now that we have our army, we are ready to have our general be part of this. And so he grabs Crash and he's like, and remember, this is what I like. So think about it. Crash is the only mutant of all of them that can't talk.
Oh.
Coco is a genius and she can talk. Tana can talk.
So Crash can't even communicate.
Yeah, Crash is the only mutant of all of them that can't speak. And that's what makes him different. But that's what makes him good. That's what makes him who he is, Crash.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to talk about, is like Crash's identity. So this is where we start grabbing from the game and making it more of a story.
Yeah.
So Crash, the reason why Crash can't talk, and the reason why he can't get brainwashed by the Cortex Vortex,
because he's dumb,
is because that's what makes him unique, and that's where he's trying to really explore more of who he is.
Mhm.
So yeah, of course he escapes with Coco,
Tana.
but they leave Tana, but Tana gets left
okay,
behind because he
okay.
gets grabbed by the scientists or whatever, and so they escape Cortex's castle, and then they land ashore on the beach of one of the Wumpa Islands. And that's where they meet
Aku.
Aku.
Booga booga.
So that's their unfamiliar situation, and after escaping Cortex, he wants to be free on the island with Tana and Coco. And so they escape.
Aku just lays down some like philosophical shit.
Yeah.
We need to do this. Yeah.
Yes. He says, I am a totem of the Wumpa Islands. You can call me Aku Aku.
Yeah.
And so he becomes the mask that helps them.
He's like their master splinter.
Right. And the only reason why like the there's no plot hole, because it's like, oh, why don't they just use Aku Aku, and like his powers to destroy Cortex? Well, Aku Aku is only a totem. He doesn't have actual powers like that he can use against Cortex. The only way he can harness any power is through Crash. Hence why Crash would be able to wear him as a mask.
Right.
This is like the power star, like from Super Mario Brothers. So we're kind of using Aku Aku like this. So Crash, but he wants to be, so that's his wants to be free from the island, free from Cortex with Coco and Tana. But they want something, and they enter their unfamiliar situation where they escape Cortex Castle, and then of course they adapt to that unfamiliar situation where they, with the team of Uka Uka and Coco, they defeat
Uka Uka's the bad guy.
Aku Aku Uka Aku Aku Uka. I know, but every time I hear Buka Buka, I think Uka Uka. And that's what I always think that's the good guy.
No.
So yeah, they defeat Cortex's army, which would be this will be fun. We'll have like all these different villains, like we'll have
like little mini boss battles.
Tiny
Can we do
Dingo Dial?
Can we do he fights them in order of the video game? So Papu Papu, he fights Papu Papu first.
Oh, and maybe once he defeats Papu Papu realizes, he's like, well, we need to defeat Cortex because he's taking the islands from us.
Our lands.
So then
I only work with him because he promised not to hurt my people.
But now I must
fuck up.
So then they all team up and they defeat the Cortex army. Koala Kong. They have to fight
Tiny. Pinstripe.
We can even do it like how Mario did it, where it's like it's just like a montage of where you just.
That's what I want.
And then they just fights them all down, and then they make it to the
castle.
They make it to the Cortex castle, and then Neo, Cortex, and Crash finally have their battle, in the sky with the Cortex blimp in the background, and Cortex is like, Crash, the only reason why the Cortex Vortex didn't work at you is because you are simple-minded. You are an idiot. Oh. You're a fool. Oh. You are nothing to me. The only reason why I wanted you as a general is because all you knew how, he's like, that's the reason why he wanted him as a general, is because
he was going to brainwash him to only fight or something.
Yeah, like that. And he's already a good fighter, and because here's the thing, Crash doesn't speak, but his actions speak louder than his words. I bet you, like when he was doing
that should be the tagline,
right?
The trailer.
But that's the thing. That's what I want to make this whole story is. That's the reason why Crash can't speak, is because he doesn't need to speak. He is who he is, and that's why he can do the spin attacks. That's why he can do slides. That's why, because he's capable. He's and he's capable. So like Cortex is like, he keeps understanding. It's like, how are you able to do all this? Like, how are you able to defeat me? You're so fucking stupid. Like, you're simple mind. You're a little piece of shit. Like, you're an ant to my boot. Your fucking sister's smarter than you. Like, and it doesn't like bring. But Crash realizes that, like this. He's like, but that's who I am. I'm Crash. But he doesn't even say that. He's just like, hee-haw!
Dude, I want him. Can he do his little dances?
Yeah. Well, he'll do it at the end. He'll be like, boom, 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 boom.
Shit! The music would fucking rock.
Dun dun dun.
Dude,
do the opera.
orchestral Crash Bandicoot theme.
So,
I'd fucking die.
So he just he rescues Tana, which is like, that's his he gets what he wants, and he frees everybody. Well, not he defeats the lackeys and whatever. But here's the thing, and this is what I wanted to go. I should have went back on. So the evolution ray, or the evolutionary ray that he uses on all of them.
Mm.
So Crash this whole time was thinking, oh, if I just get more of the evolution ray inside of me, I will be able to speak. I can finally speak to Tana. I can finally speak to Coco and express my emotions more the way I want to. But like he realizes, okay, so when he defeats Cortex, that's where he pays the heavy price. He has to choose between saving his sister during the explosion or saving the evolution ray, and obviously he picks his sister. But in turn, the evolution ray is permanently destroyed. Like all the crystals break, the power crystals that were used to just power it from the island, destroyed. So now he can't use it to speak, but he realizes, like, you know what? This is who I am.
I don't need to speak.
I don't need to speak. So now they're living peacefully in the island. That's their returning to their familiar situation, and he accepts who he is. He's Crash. He doesn't need to speak.
Beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
This would be super emotional.
Oh, I wouldn't. Why they're never gonna make it. They're never gonna make a Crash movie. And if they do make a Crash movie, they're gonna fuck it up. This is why
by giving him a voice.
I hate this shit. Look how easy it is, dude. Look how easy it is to make a decent movie. And all these fucking studios. Let's give him a voice. Let's get Chris Pratt to voice Crash. Let's get Seth Rogen and
let's get Tom Holland to voice
Tom Holland. Tom Holland did Uncharted. Let's do no.
Hugh Jackman's Australian.
Yeah. Just shut the fuck up.
Tell Crash to shut the fuck up.
That should be the tagline.
Well, think about it. It would save you. It would save you a voice actor. You wouldn't spend this money on
That
it.
should be the tagline for the Red Band trailer. Shut the fuck up.
Oh shit! Speed round the cards. All right, five. Okay, 5 moments of plot.
5 moments of plot armor.
Dingo Dial is gonna use his flamethrower to burn him to a crisp, but
and then all he does is just go.
Yeah.
And then he just shakes off all the.
Yeah, he shakes off all the soot, and then he spins, attacks him, and fucking knocks his head off.
TNT crate. The first time he encounters a TNT crate, he jumps on it and he goes bomb.
And Aku Aku's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, and then Crash doesn't know what's going on, and it just goes,
and launches him up in the air.
I got another one. All right. In the rolling ball.
Yeah, the rolling rock. He's running.
He's running towards the screen. The rock runs him over, but he's just like flat. And then if he scratches his head a little bit.
Oh, and then when Cortex uses his laser gun to shoot him, and all Crash. This is where Crash has his realization where he is who he is, and then he does his spin attack, spins it back at him. Even though, like, that would have easily, like, we probably showed in a couple scenes where Cortex uses his laser gun, on his henchmen.
Yeah, on his people, yeah.
And then they, like, obliterate, like, completely, like, destroys them. And so he's like, how did that work?
I got it.
Is that 3? That's 4. Okay, one more.
I got it. Remember those plants?
Oh, the man-eating plants.
He gets chomped by a plant, but then he just, like...
spits out the shoes.
Yeah.
So yeah, Crash is invincible. He's a cartoon god.
Crash is OP.
He's Luffy Gear 5.
Can't beat Goku though.